Hey guys, what's up? JGigs back with another Summoner's War video. Tonight I'm going to talk about ruining monsters, and I'm going to gear it towards the newer players because I do remember being new and wondering what the hell am I supposed to do with these runes, like not really understanding how the whole runing thing works and not getting a lot of help from chat in a lot of the cases. You ask how to rune a monster in chat and they give you the answer that they give you an answer that expects you to know what you're talking about already, or to know what they're talking about. And for newer players trying to learn this system, it can be a little intimidating, and it can be not helpful when they give you answers like that. So I'm going to do my best to just break it down to its simplest form. Um, it is a little complicated in the beginning, but once you get the hang of it, it just becomes second nature. It's not complicated at all once it clicks. So that's going to be the goal of this video, is to help it click a little earlier for the newer players than it did for players like me that just kind of had to figure it out and bug my guildmates about it all the time. So we'll get right into it. The first thing we'll cover is just the concept of a set. You see, when you go into you click monsters and you come down to Rune, and you'll see all the different kinds of sets there are. We'll use energy as the first example. Sorry, yawning. All right. So you notice here it says energy 2 set, and then over here it says HP plus 15%. Now what 2 set means is you have to equip 2 of the runes to complete a set, and then this is the bonus you get for completing the set. So for instance, we'll go to Chasun. You see up right here it says set effect, and this will tell you what sets you've completed on the monster. So I have completed an energy set right here. It doesn't matter which 2. It could be 6 and 4. It could be 1 and 6. It could be any. As long as you've got 2 energy runes on them, you've completed a set. They don't have to be touching. They don't have to be related in any other way than that they're both energy. So because I have 2 energy runes on her, I've completed a set. And on top of what these runes are doing for her, on top of what these stats are doing for her, she's also getting an extra 15% added to her HP, and that affects her base HP. So 15% of this number is included in what this number is now. That's an example of a passive effect of a rune. I don't know if the game calls them that. I don't know if other players call them that. I'm not coining it as my phrase, but that is how I refer to them and differentiate. So you've got your passive effect, which is like HP or Swift, that affects speed. Blade affects critical rate. These are all things you'll see reflected in your stats. Active effects are rune sets like Despair, which is a 4 set, which means you have to equip 4 Despair runes. It doesn't matter where. Tyron's that example of someone I have Despair runes on. Doesn't matter where, as long as you have 4 of them on, you'll complete the set and you'll get this. And this is a 25% chance to stun anybody you hit with any skill that the monster uses. So basically, in all these skill descriptions, just add to the bottom and a 25% chance to stun. The reason it's effective on a monster like Tyron is because he has 2 AoE skills. What AoE means is area of effect. So that means he's hitting multiple targets. So here, he attacks all enemies. He attacks all enemies, and then here, attacks all enemies. So he's got 2 AoE skills. So that's 2 turns in a row that he has the potential to stun multiple targets. And then this one, it's important because it already freezes. So if they're able to resist the freeze, there's still a chance he'll stun. So Despair is very useful on monsters like Tyron. But that's an active effect. That affects something that's going on in battle. So like Despair, Revenge gives you a 15% chance to counterattack. And it's a 2 set. Now 2 sets are stackable. And what I mean by that is if you put 2 runes on, you've completed 1 set and you get a 15% chance. If you put 4 runes on, you've completed 2 sets, and it'll say Revenge, Revenge, and it'll be a 30% chance. And if you do 6 Revenge runes, it'll say Revenge, 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 and it'll be a 45% chance to counterattack. So you can stack 2 sets and increase their bonus. So that's useful, especially like energy. It's a 15%. You do 6 of them, that's 45%. An early game on a monster like Ramagos, who I covered in another video, 45% onto his HP on top of what the rune's already doing for him. That's important stuff. So it's good to understand what the rune sets are doing for your monster. So like here you see it says energy, energy, energy. Now, onto the little diagram here on the slots. These slots are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Go ahead now and separate them in your head, odds and evens. So you've got your 1, 3, 5, and you've got your 2, 4, 6. 1, 3, and 5 will always be the same thing. They will always be the same main stat. These will be different. You know, substats can be anything, but they can be anything except what the main stat is of the rune or the secondary stat. But that's not super important right now. So slot 1, for instance, will always be attack. It'll be a flat attack. What I mean by flat, this is a great rune to show you this. This is flat attack, and this is what people are just going to refer to as attack. Because in slot 2, if you want to put attack, you don't ever want flat attack. You always want it to have this percentage. So this is flat attack, and this is percentage attack or scaling attack or whatever, however people want to refer to it. But flat attack is always slot 1. Flat defense is always slot 3. Flat HP is always slot 5. There's nothing. It's not like it's mandatory, and it's not like it's a good idea, and that's how you should do it. It's like no matter what, slot 5 runes, and right here is the slot. Slot 5 is always flat HP on the main. Always. So 1 is always attack, 3 is always defense, 5 is always HP. Now you'll notice this is a 6-star rune. Runes can be 1 star to 6 star. Obviously, the more stars you have, the better. This number right here is what level the rune is. So this is what slot it is. This is what level it is. This is its quality, I guess would be a good way to refer to that. 6-star is the best. Now, every rune, what's the best way to say this? Runes start with the same amount on their main stat depending on what the quality of the rune is. So for instance, every 6-star rune at level 6 will have HP plus 1080. Every 5-star rune at plus 3 will have plus 585. So if you get a 5-star rune that's just level 1, it starts with the same amount, and when you get it to plus 15, it ends with the same amount. Substats, that is not the case. But with main stats, they always level up at the same rate, depending on the quality of the rune. I think that's a good way to explain that. Okay. Now, 2, 4, 6, here's where it begins to seem a little complicated. And if you ask in chat how to rune a monster, we'll use Ramagos as the example. No, we won't. I don't want to do that. I want to do Jasun. How to rune Jasun. You ask that in chat. We'll say that they give you my build. So they're going to say, they'll probably say Vio, energy, HP, HP, HP is probably, let's say that they say that. Now that's going to mean nothing to you. You might deduce that they mean violent and energy as the sets. But if you're new and you're learning how to rune and somebody says Vio, energy, HP, 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 you're going to have no idea what that means. There's 6 rune slots. They're only giving you 3 of them, and they're just saying HP, and you don't know that they mean HP percentage. So the reason that that's the case, the reason that they say it like that, is because 1, 3, and 5 are always the same. So since 2, 4, 6 are the only ones that can vary, those are the ones people tell you how to rune. So violent energy are the 2 sets you want to incorporate, and you want to go HP, HP, HP. But you see they all have a percentage. It's HP percentage. That's very important. The only time on 246 you're ever going to want a flat stat, and that's a stat without a percentage, is slot 2 speed. And the reason is because percentage doesn't exist for speed on a rune. So other than that, anytime anybody ever tells you what the 246 is on a monster, it's a percentage. Unless it's speed at slot 2. Speed can only be found at slot 2, and it's only a flat stat. So remember that. If anybody ever tells you that a monster needs speed, you're looking for speed and you're only looking for it in slot 2 because that's the only place it exists as a main stat. Other things exist at slot 2 as well, but what I mean is that you won't find speed at slot 4 or slot 6. You'll only find that at slot 2. Now, slot 4, like slot 2, that's the only place you were going to find speed. The only place you're going to find critical damage and critical rate is at slot 4. And those only exist in a percentage. So speed is exclusive to slot 2. Critical damage and critical rate are exclusive to slot 4. And accuracy and resistance are exclusive to slot 6. Now other stuff like HP, attack, defense, and whatever else I might be forgetting, those can be found at 2, 4, and 6. You know, in any order. So remember that. Speed, critical damage, critical rate, accuracy, and resistance. If that's where you'll find those. What else can we talk about? Okay. As you know, as I'm sure you've noticed, some of my runes are different colors. And earlier I referred to the levels of runes. So like any, and here's another part where there's a lot to explain, and it seems like it's complicated, but it's really not. Runes start at level 1. When you get a rune, it's level 1. It could be one of 4 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 colors, I guess. There's white runes, then they turn green, then they turn blue, then they turn purple, then they turn orange. White is just a basic rune with no substats. Green is a level 3 rune, or a rune with 1 substat at level 1. Blue is a level 6 rune, or a rune with 2 substats at level 1. Purple or pink, whatever you want to call that, is a level 9 rune, or a rune with 3 substats at level 1. And orange is a level 12 rune or above, or a rune with 4 substats at level 1. Now, powering up runes. Let me find a green rune. I'm sure I'm not going to have any white runes, but I might have a green one. Okay. So here's an example of a rune that was probably a white rune. So it had no substats. But you see it's +3, which means I've leveled it up to level 3. At each interval that it changes colors, which is 3, 6, 9, and 12, it's either going to gain a substat or level up a substat. This rune had no substats, and it got resistance +5%. Now, let's level it up to 6, and I can show you an example of getting a new substat versus leveling up an existing substat. See if we just get lucky and go straight to it. No, of course not. Okay, so we hit level 6 and we got a new substat. That's automatic. At 9, we're going to get another substat, and at 12, we're going to get another substat. Now, let me see if I can find an example of a rune that at level 1 was already its color. Okay, here's an example. This rune was purple even when it was level 1. And the only time it'll change color now is once I take it to level 12. so it already had the 3 substats. So what it looks like it powered up was his defense probably, but since there are existing substats, what it'll do when it hits 6 now is pick a random one and upgrade it instead of adding another one, because runes are only going to have 4 substats. So at 6, it's going to pick one of these and randomly upgrade it. At 9, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to pick a random one and upgrade it. And then at 12, I'm going to get a new substat. And then at 15, the main stat's going to go up and it's not going to change the substat. So at 12, your substats are what they are. They're not going to change until later in the game, and that's not something I'm going to cover in this right now. But so that's something to think about when you're powering up a rune. You want to be looking at the substats. Now again, early game, don't worry so much about substats. Worry about getting your 2, 4, 6 on what they're supposed to be. And I'll show you an example. I think I have a route down here. Yeah, I do. Fire Unugami. If you can get your hands on him early game, he's a great nuker. He's a great early game nuke. He's got a defense break on his first skill. His second skill teams up with another ally, and this passive right here, get an extra turn if you kill the enemy. So that's very useful because early game, you get some decent runes on him, and he can one-shot enemies in dungeons pretty easy. So he'll just one-shot and he just wipes out whole stages for you. So he's a great early game nuke. So let's talk about how to rune him, or any early game nuke. Fatal is going to be available to you without too much stress. So Fatal is going to be the way to go on new monsters in early game. Fatal's the way to go on your early game attackers is what I'm trying to say. So there are a couple different ways we could go with him. You could either go, and here's where I'm going to talk to you with the lingo now. I'm gonna let you hear it and then let you watch it happen. So we're going to say on Rauk, we want to go Fatal for sure because we want this attack bonus. And then I made another video and I'm going to incorporate what I was saying in another video into this one. For second set, you don't necessarily need to worry about it. People are going to tell you early game, probably go Fatal Blade. So they'd say like Fatal Blade, attack, crit damage, attack, or attack, 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 or whatever. But they'd say Fatal Blade, and you'd hear that and you'd think, well, okay, well then I gotta have Blade. But if you take a step back and look, Blade's only giving you a 12% crit rate boost. So if you're forcing yourself into a Blade set, you're potentially missing out on some really great runes somewhere else, and all you're getting for it is this 12% crit rate boost. And on a young monster on Rauk early game, his crit rate's 15%. You're probably not going to be able to put enough crit rate on him to make him consistently hit, and you're probably not going to be able to get enough crit damage on him to make it worth having the crit rate. So it's really not that important to have a Blade set on him. Your focus early game is to get this number up. You want his attack up. You don't have the means right now to play with these, so you just want his attack. So we're going to rune him. We could either go speed, attack, attack, or we could go attack, attack, attack. It depends on who you're running with him. But we'll go speed, attack, attack. So we will look at our Fatal runes and see if we have anything in the 2, 4, 6 spots that he could wear. So here's a good one. We've got attack. The subs aren't great, but early game subs, you know, you're not sweating subs. It's good to start to understand them, but it's not breaking your heart too much if you can't get them on there. So this one's okay. I mean, they're all decent. If you could get HP, some small HP percentage in the subs, that would be nice because he can be a little squishy. But sorry, so we know we've got some attack runes at slot 6 if we have to have them for Fatal. So now we'll come over to slot 4. And we'll look at these and see what we got. There's an HP, crit rate, attack. So there we go. There's an attack rune, and it's got a really nice HP sub for him that has potential to get leveled up again. So let's go ahead. That's a rune. That's an example of rune that we know we're going to put on him. So let's go ahead and stick it on him. And we'll go to slot 2. Alright, there's an attack rune. There's a speed rune. If we wanted to go speed, we have the means. Here's a really good speed rune because it's got attack and HP in the subs and their percentages. Now this flat HP, that's bullshit. You don't ever care about flat subs unless it's speed. That's the only flat sub you care about. That's the only flat stat you care about, period, is speed. So you know what? I actually really like that speed rune for him, so we're going to put that speed rune on him, because speed is never a bad thing. Speed is never a bad thing. And being that we're getting HP and attack in the subs, that's gonna benefit us. So we didn't love any of the slot 6 attack runes. So what we can do is we can just kind of bounce around our other sets and see. Here's an attack rune. Nothing really great going on there. You just kind of look around in your other sets. Doesn't matter where. HP and speed in the subs. That we like. So you know what? Let's just go ahead and stick a Swift rune on him. Now we'll go back into Fatal. And we'll look at slot 5. And since we know that the main stat is always going to be the same, here's where we are putting some emphasis on the substats. We would love attack, we would love speed, and we would love HP. So the more of those that we can get on one rune, the better. So there's speed and HP, so that's a good candidate. So we'll remember that one. There's attack and HP. Ooh, that's nice. So since we're putting speed on slot 2, we're not as in much of a need for speed in the subs. So that one that's attack and HP we like. So we're going to put that on there. And now we're looking at 1 and 3. So we just, again, 1, 3, and 5 is where we are paying more attention to the substats, because the first stat's always going to be the same. So we would love at least 2 of the 3 subs that we're looking for on him. Speed, HP, and attack. And we don't really have any of them. So we're going to hope we have a slot 3 that does fit him well, and then we're going to bounce around our other rune sets and look for a 1. And it doesn't have to be Swift, and it doesn't have to be anything. It just has to be something with good stats. So speed, defense, defense and speed. Defense doesn't hurt, but so yeah, we'll go with defense and speed, because again, speed doesn't hurt. It'd be great if that was HP, but where was it? Where was that damn rune? Well, it's here somewhere. There it is. Okay. So we'll put that on him. Now you'll see it says Fatal, which means we've completed the set. So now we get this 35% bonus. And let's look at slot 1. We're looking for HP, attack, and speed. 2 of the 3 would suffice. Now see, that's speed and HP, but it's a flat HP. We don't want that. So we will keep looking. Go to spare, doesn't matter. That attack plus 13% would be nice. Is nice. Here's an HP plus 5%. You know what? Okay, here's a good example of something. We're at plus 3, and we've got 2 subs. Don't count this as a sub. So we know we're going to get 1 more power up before we get a new one. So what we'll do is we'll power it up to 6. If we get lucky and it goes into attack instead of this flat HP, we'll go ahead and put it on him, because that'll be a pretty big bonus to his attack. So we'll cross our fingers here and hope that that attack percentage increases and not that flat HP. but we did not get lucky and it was flat HP, and that's the way the game goes most of the time. You're very rarely going to get the power-ups that you want when you're powering up a rune, so we'll keep looking. Ooh, now this one's beautiful. This is exactly what we want. That's perfect. So we'll stick that on him. Now we don't have a second set completed, but let's take a look at what we got here. We got, and this isn't even really powered up yet, so just right now we're getting 4% HP and plus 8 to speed, which is not bad. And then here we're getting plus 14% to attack and plus 5 to speed. So we're getting 13 speed, 14% attack, and 4% HP before power-ups. Now, we would be missing out on all those if we had forced the blade set on him, because we didn't have any blade runes that, you know, that if we didn't have blade runes that looked like that, and we forced the blade on him, we'd be missing out on those stats just to put this at 30, is it 12%? So what's that, 35%? At a 35% chance to do 50% critical damage. That is not worth the hit that he would take in the stats to have a blade set equipped. So it's much better that we just plugged in random runes with good subs and good stats here. So let's take a look at him. He's 3-star, unawakened, and his stats are going to change drastically. 1, when I power up runes. 2, when I awaken him. And 3, when we evolve him to 4-star, 5-star. So that's, I kind of wanted to rune a monster with you to give you an idea of how to do it and what you're looking for and what to think about. The best way to learn it is just keep doing it and keep playing around with it. Free rune removal is coming up this Saturday. Today is the 3rd of August. Free rune removal is this Saturday, and that's the day where you can pull runes off monsters without the charge. If you notice right now, if I click remove, I have to pay, and you have to pay based on the quality of the rune. So like that's 25,000. A 6-star rune would be 50,000, and that shit starts to hurt after a while. Like that adds up quick. I mean, if he's got all 5-star runes on him, you know, we're talking 50, 100, 150,000 just to pull runes off of him. So it gets expensive, but on Saturday you can take them off and put them on as many times as you want the whole day. So it's really a good opportunity for you to play around with your runes. It's a big day in the Summoners War community. Everybody loves Free Rune Removal Day. It's a great day to experiment, work with your monsters, and you know, figure it out. So just remember, the important things to remember are 1, 3, and 5 are always the same. So that's where you're looking for substats to begin with. And then 2, 4, 6 are the ones that can be variable. Speed is here. Critical damage, critical rate is exclusive to here. And accuracy and resistance are exclusive to slot 6. Other than that, I think I about covered it. I really just wanted to kind of do a rundown and give you a better understanding of when you ask how to rune a monster in chat and somebody says, you know, Fatal Blade, attack, crit damage, attack. 1, now you'll know what they're saying, and 2, you can also think, you can hear and get an idea, but you can think, I don't need that blade. I don't need to finish the blade set. The stats are more important than the set. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I want you, what I want you to start thinking. If you start thinking like that now, it's not a habit you're going to have to break later in the game, and it's a lot harder to break later in the game. So, yeah, worry about your stats and just play around with it and see what you can figure out. I hope this was helpful. I hope I didn't run through it too fast, and I hope I covered everything, at least on a beginner's plane. So if it was helpful, thumbs up, and let me know. I'm of course open to feedback and all that. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have. And other than that, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you next time.